Hi, friends. Welcome to Getting Your Real Estate Life Together. I'm Tracy Hicks with All Things Real Estate. And today I'm excited to talk to my good friend Ross Seligman. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Ross.
Hey everybody, my name is Ross Seligman from Living Room Realty and Sphere, and I'm really happy to be here. Thanks, Tracy.
Yay. And Ross is a Portland realtor.
Yes, I'm a Portland
Okay.
realtor.
So we have a lot to go over because Ross is not just a realtor, but he's a true realtor because he's also an entrepreneur at heart and has started a company called Sphere. So we decided that we're going to talk about Sphere first because we figure that's when we have your attention. And then we're going to kind of move into how Sphere has helped him build his business. And he has a team now where he didn't used to have. And so yeah, let's talk about Sphere, Ross. First of all, what is the URL?
It is usesphere.com, USESPHERE.com.
Perfect. Okay. And what is Sphere?
Okay, Sphere is, a lot of people look at it initially and think it's a CRM. And although we could call it that, I really don't think that's what it is.
Right.
It's sort of the keys to the castle of how to run a primarily, but not, it doesn't have to be exclusively, but primarily relationship-based real estate business based on not only my 16 years doing it, but also, I spent a lot of that time in a love-hate relationship with this industry, right? With doing this for a
Yep.
living. And the love part was I love it, right? I love the relationships and I love the
People.
the people and the excitement and I
Houses.
love the deal making, all of it.
Yep.
The hate was that you basically decide that you're gonna, so that you can be working 40 hours a week, somebody else work all of it for yourself, right?
Right.
So you're gonna work every single hour in the day, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
So what I wanted was I wanted to systemize and in the most efficient way, the most effective lead generation and tracking of transactions.
Right.
Literally what I wanted to do was hit a button in the morning, an app, and have it be like, do this, do this, do this.
Yep.
And then I was done. And here's why. What I wanted from this was I wanted to exponentially scale my business upwards while lowering my hours that I work per week.
Yep.
And the two ways that I knew I could do this was, what is it? The Pareto principle, where, what is it, like the 80-20 rule, which I think in real estate is actually like a 95-5 rule, which is the most, 95% of the most effective stuff is actually, I'm saying this wrong, I'm butchering this, but it's basically like 5% of my time or 5% of what I'm doing is actually what's most important.
Right. And what's actually working.
Yeah, the other 95% is me feeling like I'm busy and feeling not guilty.
And trying to figure out how to get to that 5%.
Exactly. So for instance, one of the things Sphere will tell you exactly who you have to call that day based on a business plan that it makes for you within like 5 minutes. Okay. So, this was all based on me being a huge fan and admirer of agents around me who seemed to have two things going for them. One was their phones would ring almost magically to me with people wanting to list and sell their house with them.
Yep.
Of course, it wasn't magic. They were actually super in touch with these people, but I didn't understand that at first. And the other thing was I would see them doing other things in their lives, right? They had a life.
Right.
Okay. And I don't know about some of you, but I can really historically, I don't think I'm a workaholic, but I can sort of tend workaholism. It's a problem with what we do. I can only really speak for myself, but I feel like this may resonate with a lot of people.
Right.
It's really hard to turn it off sometimes. It's really to know, did I do it today? Did I win the day? Did I kill it today? I don't know.
Right.
What am I, like what constitutes that? And to me, I decided what constitutes that is doing the 5%. That really is the 95%, is the most important of all. And eliminating all of the stuff that's just filling up my day, preventing me from hanging out with my kids, having a real life, doing things that are not real estate. I wanted something to be like, you killed it, you're done, you can stop working now.
Right.
And so it eliminates the prep each
Yeah.
day for that. So what I
Yeah.
mean is it tells you who you need to call, right? So let's say I have to call today. I have to connect with 5 people database that I'm not in transaction with. Okay, because this is about generating referrals for the future. Well, instead of agonizing over my 400 people database or whatever it is, deciding which 5 I'm going to call and eating up an hour and a half just doing that, this just goes, here's who you're calling,
Yep.
you know? So I basically do more effective lead generation, referral-based lead generation by noon, and I'm done. I'm doing more than, the vast majority of agents by noon.
Nice.
I'm doing that,
Right.
and then I'm done. And then I know, oh my God, I killed it today. Sweet. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
totally.
go do something else.
Right. Not real estate.
So I know that was a really long answer, but basically, to put it in a nutshell, Sphere aims to exponentially scale your business while bringing down the hours per week that you're working. And then I built a team around it, and then Sphere is basically our brain and tells us all what we're doing, and I can look at it as the team leader and I can see everything that's happening.
Right.
I do not work more than 40 hours a week now.
Nice.
That was a dream to me. I was doing
Y-
a quarter of the business 5 years ago that I do
Yeah.
now, and I
Yeah.
was working 70 hours a week.
Right. Or
So
more.
working more hours, working more hours does not mean you are doing better or more. Frequently you're doing worse. You're just super not efficient, and you're going to burn out. And it's just that, did any of us get into this business to work 70 hours a week?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
no.
Exactly. Okay, so another thing too, I know that when you first started putting the app together, one of the things that you would talk about was that there's so many CRMs out there and there's so many, apps and stuff for realtors. But you liked certain things in certain apps. And so you kind of put all of your favorite things together and put it into this app. What were some of the things also that you really needed in your business? Not just like well, I guess I'll back up. When you did this, did you know you wanted to build a team eventually, or did you build this kind of thinking, because I know you were thinking, I want to build this just for my sake, and then like every realtor needs this, but
Yeah.
was your intention to kind of build a team eventually, or was that a part of your thought process?
It wasn't initially. It's so funny because I'm so glad I didn't know what I didn't know back then, because I
Yep.
might not have done this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
I tend to like leap. I'm like excited, like let's go do this, and then
Yep.
I'm like, oh, this is good. Once this happens, it'll be fine and it'll be
True
easy,
entrepreneur.
right? And then it happens. I'm like, oh, so
Right.
my naivete was, incredible.
Yep.
No, I didn't know that I was necessarily going to build a team. As a matter of fact, I probably would have told you all these reasons why building a team is not a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could not have been more wrong. My
Yeah.
God, building a team is, especially with pandemic, where we don't connect or see as many people as possible individually. It has been awesome to have this group of people that I talk to every day, and I'm super engaged with every day. And we're kind of all, just the camaraderie of it.
Hmm.
It has been wonderful to have this group with a shared purpose. I've loved that.
Yeah.
I've also loved taking on, newer agents onto my team, and coaching them. Like I've loved all of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's been a real surprise, but I've also learned that I learned so much by doing this. And one of the things is that I have made the client experience to be the number one primary importance of the team, right?
Right.
And we put that in practice, and what that's done is really, it has not mattered in the way that I thought it would, that it's
Right.
not me necessarily that they're talking to all the time. you know they're able to see a lot of what's going on in the transaction because of Sphere,
Yep.
because they have a client, there's a client facing part of it. But all of us are making them, all of us are making them feel super loved on and cared about, which is really
Yeah.
what they care about, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be me, but I was one of these realtors, which is I feel like this is really, really common, not just in real estate, but in all businesses, where people start to think like, well, it has to be me. They're calling because it's me. Well, yes, they are calling because it's you, but like an insurance company, there's a name on the sign,
Right.
and you may not ever talk to that person. That's not how we operate. They do always talk to me, but
Yep.
I'm not in the weeds as much as I used to be. But they are super loved on by all these people, including me, and the clients are thrilled. I'm getting like great reviews online, and I'm like, oh my god, what? It was my mindset.
Yeah.
My mindset had to change. So no, I did not plan on it necessarily, and now that I need it, Sphere has grown because of it, because now it has this really robust team functionality that I can control what everybody sees too. Like everybody's not seeing everything. Everybody's seeing just what
Right.
they're working on.
Yeah.
But what you were saying about when I first started this, and I was saying that I took a little bit of all these different things I was using. This is a good example because what I found was that I could not find actually what I needed, or actually I could not find a product that actually was how people do real estate for real.
Right.
It was always like Silicon Valley thought they can sell things to a bunch of realtors. And so people who don't do real estate created this product, and oh my God, you're going to love it. And,
Right.
and really loved 10% of what it did.
Yeah.
And the other 90% was just totally useless. And I was paying a lot of money for it. So I subscribed to like 8 things like this. And the first version of Sphere was that we were kind of taking the 10% from all those things that were actually useful, putting it into one. But being an actual realtor, and that being my primary business, and doing this every day, especially now with the team, there's 5 of us total, I've needed Sphere to do things. I'm the most annoying client of Sphere. I'm like, I need this, I need
Right.
that.
Yep.
The developers are like, oh no, we're hearing from Ross again. So
Right.
now it's a modular system that can be configured to every which way we teams operate, because every team, no 2 teams operate the same way.
Right.
But the
And
only reason is because I actually needed it for my business.
right, right. And that's the best part is whenever I talk to people about Sphere, I always say it's realtor created because you know what is needed. It's the same with the store. I know what realtors need before they know it because I'm a realtor. So, it's just, and
Exactly.
I get to create product that they're like, oh, I didn't even know I needed that. I'm like, yep, you do. But it's also, just like you said, with your own transactions, if something's not functioning that you need it to do, you get to change that and add it to the app. So, I mean, that's
And
awesome.
and even beyond me, it's a little bit crowdsourced now, because so many agents, like we've got agents who are super users, some in Portland and some in different states,
Yeah.
who they've been super vocal, like, oh, I wanted to do this, or this isn't working the way I actually need it to. And I love that. I'm like, bring it on.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. You want it to work.
we'll fix it, we'll change it, we'll grow it.
Totally.
I just want it
Totally.
to be, obviously I want Sphere to grow a lot, but really my intention is that it makes my real estate business continue to grow and help me work less hours at the same time. That's the whole thing. I'm as equally into wanting to have more business done, make more money, have more relationships, all of that, as I am to have more of a life outside of real estate. I want both simultaneously, and I believe it's possible.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Totally.
point.
So you talked about one of the functionalities is that your clients can also see whatever you want them to see. So talk to me about that real quick about how that works and what they can see and why and all that good stuff.
Well, one of the biggest complaints that we always see to the National Association of Realtors is communication, right?
Yep.
They're always complaining about realtor communication, and it's just so hard to wear 150 hats as a realtor.
Mhm.
But one of the places that I feel like communication drops off is after you're pending, and especially after like certain milestones have been hit, right?
Yep.
Because then you're busy like
You get past the
putting out
inspection
fires.
period. Yeah, you're just waiting for closing day.
Yeah, and people start to freak out because they're not doing this every day. We are,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah.
not. So they start to go like, what's happening?
Yep.
Okay, so basically we created, when you're using Sphere, it's got this super huge like transaction tracking thing that's going on.
Yeah.
And part of it is it automatically generates a timeline. You know how when we go pending, we'll send to the other agent, hey, here's all of our dates. Like, do you concur?
Yeah.
Well, we don't do that anymore now because this thing automatically creates that into a link, and we just send that to the other side and go, hey, check this out. Does this look good? But that link, we also send to our clients and we say, hey, bookmark this on your phone, bookmark it on your laptop. You can always reach me. You can always call me. You can always text me. But if you're wondering like what's going on or where we're at in the transaction, you can always click this link and you're going to see exactly where you are. It's got every little piece of the transaction that is totally customizable by the realtor, right? You
Nice.
decide what they see.
Yep.
It's really awesome if they bookmark it on their phone because it has all of the milestones that are happening and the dates, but it also has everybody involved with the transaction, their lender, contact info, their escrow agent, like all of it. And the reason why it's cool if they do it on their phone is because all they have to do is touch the phone number next to that person and it calls them, you
Right.
know? It also has all the details of the transaction. Like it's got everything and it's in this beautiful presentation. So what happened is as soon as we started doing this and sending it, somebody goes pending and we'll send them an email, congrats, you're pending, and then we'll hyperlink this link, we'll say like, hey, click here and bookmark this. What happened was and this is part of me working less, right? My phone call, my incoming phone calls of just like transactional stuff
Went way
dropped
down. Yep.
way down. And so I'm in more control of my time now.
Yeah.
So what I do is I tell all my clients like, hey, you're going to hear from me when something happens. And if nothing's happening, you're going to hear from me every Monday. Just to
Nice.
say, even if I'm saying nothing's happening, like everything's
Yeah.
fine, nothing's happening. In the meantime, you can always call me if you're feeling anxiety. It's totally fine.
Yep.
But I just want you to know to expect when you'll hear from me. And in between, you can always go to this bookmark of this sphere link and see what's going on. And if you need to talk to
Right.
your lender or escrow, all of it's in one place for you. It's been awesome. It made me nervous in the very beginning because my phone, because I suddenly like had time and my phone wasn't ringing, and I'm
You're
like, are
all
they mad at me? But then it closes, and I get this like incredible Yelp review from them.
yeah.
They always knew what was happening and everything's fine, and I'm like, oh my god, I figured out a secret.
Right.
This is a feature. This timeline feature is obviously part of the system. It's one of the most, for obvious reasons, it's the only client-facing part of Sphere. It's one of the most popular features. So we just broke it out, and we now have a version of Sphere that's just the timeline. So like if you're using some others have to so if you want to see what this is, everything is a 30-day free trial. So you can just check it out if you want. But if you go to usesphere.com, you'll see a timeline only version there that you can
Uh,
sign up for and just
okay.
check it out for 30 days.
And can you check out I mean, the time
You
is
can
the
check out the whole thing.
timeline. Okay. All of it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could sign up for the trial for the whole system or just for the timeline. If you do the whole system, the timeline's part of it.
Okay. And are you still doing, because I know you were doing webinars every once in a while about it.
Yeah.
You're still
If
doing
you
that?
sign up, if you sign up, you'll be getting an invitation every week, or I try to do it at least every week.
Nice.
As we grow, we're going to be doing more of them. We're starting to have other people interested in helping us do them. I'm saying it that way because I just want everyone to know, like, we've been growing totally organically. Like, we don't have any advertising, we don't have any marketing.
Right.
This has been 100% word of mouth, and now we have people on this from across the country, some in Canada.
Yep.
The more it grows, all of the money goes back into development. So
Yep.
the more users we have, the more cool stuff Sphere does to
Yeah.
automate your life. You know,
A life.
so yeah, so that you can have a life because
Right.
that
Exactly. Okay. So now I want to shift a little bit, but I want to talk
cool.
about, because when you first started it, it was just you didn't have a team yet when you
That's
first
right.
started Sphere, right?
Yeah.
And so when did you build your team out, and how'd that happen? Like what happened? Because last time I talked to you, it was just you, and now you have a team of 5, which I noticed on one of your, I don't know if it was an email newsletter or one of your listings. I can't remember, but I was like, dang, Ross, where'd all these people come from? So tell us about how that happened, and kind of, how you made those decisions, because a lot of times realtors are at that cusp of bringing somebody on, and they're afraid that, business will dry up for a minute and then they're responsible for this other person. Also sharing your money and all that good stuff. So how did that happen for
That
you?
was me. I mean, you just described how I was. I was incredibly neurotic and anxious about all of it.
Yeah.
What happened was life forced me into that situation where I had to make a choice of, of what to do. So what I mean is, like, I have 2 kids under 5,
Yep.
and I really want to be present. I don't want them to only think of me. I don't want them to
It's
grow up
working
and
all the time.
yeah. I don't want them to like. I don't want them to grow up and be like their memories of me always have a phone on my face.
Yep. Yep.
And I was really kind of struggling with that. And it was actually, I'm at Living Room Realty, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, shortly after creating Sphere, the owner Janelle Isaacson, she basically like called me and said, "I've got someone for you. You need to hire them." And I was like, "I don't know," and like I had all these, and I could tell by the way she was talking to me about this, and I could tell I don't remember exactly what she said to me, but I suddenly had this moment that I was like, "Oh, I'm one of those people." Those
Yep.
people that like you think they would be so successful if they would just get out of their own goddamn way.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm that person.
Yeah.
And she's thinking that about me, and I can tell. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I will not be that person. And I'm like, I'm
Yep.
gonna take the leap. And at first what happened was I hired him, and it was yeah, I was terrified to like do something like pay his salary. I, paid him, a percentage, right? And really just had a buyer's agent. Now, all of the coaching I've ever had said, do not hire a buyer's agent first.
First. Yep.
But I was like, but I'm not paying a salary to an assistant.
Yeah.
And they were right. Because what happened was I got overwhelmed instantly
Yeah.
because I hired the buyer's agent first because I was worried about paying a salary. And I thought, oh, this way I can pay him as business is there. And if it's not there, I don't have to pay him.
Yep.
It's a very scarcity mentality because as soon as you have more than one person, you have that many more relationships and you have that many more people wanting to work with you. You've
Yeah.
really scaled yourself.
Which is what you
So,
want.
which is what you want.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I blew up pretty fast right there. But what happened was I now did not have the bandwidth to be able to handle it because
Yeah. You didn't have the infrastructure.
didn't have the infrastructure. And then I hired my first like administrative assistant on salary. And because we had more bandwidth because of that, it's almost like there was a vacuum. And as soon as there was like a vacuum, it got filled with more business every time. And it was
Yeah.
amazing. Like I was just like, and it seemed like magic, but really what it was I had more time to talk to people and meet with people. And that just made it grow.
Yeah.
And
And be a
then
business owner. I mean, that's what
and be a
business
business
owners
owner.
is supposed to do, is they're supposed to bring in the business.
Right. Right. And so, okay. So then it was 3 of us, including me. And then Sphere started to really systemize all of that. And Sphere enabled me to make that lead generation part of it and tracking for my administrative assistant so efficient that we started to blow up even more. And I went, oh my God. And then I was really nervous to hire any more buyer's agents because I thought I'm gonna hire another one. And then all of a sudden leads will stop coming in for no reason. And then I'll have 3 people looking at me like
Right.
all these mouths to feed,
Yep.
And as soon as I started to struggle with that, I got a call from some other agents, some Windermere agents who are friends, and they both said, "Hey, we have a mutual friend who just got his license. He's amazing, totally. We think he'd be perfect. He's got tons of customer service experience. Blah 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 blah. And we don't want to hire him because we're really good friends with him, and we don't want to mess up our friendship potentially.
Yeah.
But we thought you'd be great." And then at the exact same time this happened with someone else came to me also with that same kind of referral. So
Right.
all of a sudden 2 showed up out of nowhere.
Right.
And I went, you know what, to hell with it. I'm taking the leap.
Let's do it.
And now I had 3 buyer agents and 1 administrative assistant and me.
Wow.
And so, but what it enabled me to do is really focus on doing all the things Sphere said for me to do every day, which is all about systemizing my relationships so that I end up through a year pretty much cycling through my entire database saying, just connecting with people, which
Yeah.
had some other benefits in during COVID where I just actually felt more connected to other human
Yeah.
beings that way, even though it was on
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yep.
But by suddenly having this infrastructure, so then it started to all fill up, right, with buyers. So now our problem right now is not lead generation. I mean, I have scaled that with a system, with people, with everything. Our problem is there's no houses to sell.
Inventory. Exactly.
Inventory.
Oh my gosh.
But
And
man, I'd have like 30 pending right now. Yeah.
it hurts. I mean, this is in Portland, and I'm sure other people are experiencing this in other states, but we are the lowest we've ever been. I think since RMLS existed, it's like
Yeah.
0.8.
0.8. It's like 30 years or something. And
It's crazy.
I have a friend agent in Austin, Texas. If anybody needs a referral to Austin, Texas, let me know.
Hey.
And he had shared something on Facebook that his team had submitted an offer for something, and there was 98 offers.
Oh, what?
And my team was like,
I would
well,
never.
obviously they underpriced it. And I was like, I wonder if that's true. And we started to see I've heard of other things like where that's getting more common in Austin. And I'm like, talk about ruining your weekend for an agent. Like, I feel
Oh,
like at that point I'd overprice everything by 100 grand just to
not get
stop getting that
98
many offers.
offers. There's
Yeah,
no way. I would have stopped it at 15. I
I
mean,
know.
that's just ridiculous. But I can also understand them just all coming at you at the same time and not being able to stop the bleeding. And you told one person an hour ago that there were no offers and now there's 10. I
Yeah,
just can't
sounds
imagine.
nightmarish. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
really hope we don't get to that point. I have lots of sympathy for him in that market.
Right.
I hope that we get to that point.
Yeah.
It's this cycle. It's just all these sellers saying, I don't want to sell because then I have to be a buyer. I mean, the people who are killing it
Right.
right now are selling and leaving town, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So tell me a little bit about that because we talked before the podcast, and then I'm like, okay, wait, let's save that for the podcast. But what's happening? And because that's always kind of my question to realtors when they come into the store. I'm always curious. Oh, where's your listing at? But my question these days is always like, where are they going? Like they're selling a house, and now with COVID, a lot of people have options that they didn't have before, that they could work from home and you can do that anywhere. So, what are you seeing with your clients? Why are people selling right now?
Well, I've actually had a lot of landlords sell because they don't want to be landlords in Portland anymore.
Oh, yeah, our landlord laws really did a 180.
Yeah. So every time there's a new law that's passed, I feel like that's another big chunk of potential rentals for renters out of the rental pool
Yeah,
every time the law changed. So
right.
we've had a bunch of those, and a lot of those were people that owned investments here but didn't live here, and now they're taking their money out and they're buying somewhere else.
Yep.
So I've had a bunch of that recently. I've had people who are just leaving retiring. I've got one group of people like moving to Alaska.
Right.
People who, a couple for jobs leaving town. The thing that's a struggle, I also have had people who are trying to trade up. And then the
Yeah.
conversation I'm having with all of them is, before you do that, I want to hear your plan B. Your
Yeah.
plan B, that your place is, even if you've gotten a bunch of rent back or something, I
Right.
want to hear what happens. You don't have your place yet. I want to know your plan. I'm not listing your house until I hear, and now you're starting to think about, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Whether it's an Airbnb, one of the things is I think we still have a glut of luxurious apartments, right?
Yeah. Yep. There's
So,
a
so
lot.
I've been telling people like, hey, if you need to get like a short lease with an apartment, that shouldn't be hard to find now
Yeah.
as a plan B. So then you also don't feel stressed and rushed to have to like settle on a place to buy, because you don't want to settle. You could take your time and find the right place. So I've had a lot of people do that. Is they're going, okay, that'll be my plan B.
Yeah.
I'm trying to really help people figure out a plan B so that they're comfortable to list, because we're not going to solve this, or ease this crisis until people start listing their houses.
Right.
But I'm still also having a ton of buyers come in from California with a lot of money,
Really?
especially as their tech companies no longer require that they be there physically.
Yeah.
As much as we feel like prices are high in Portland, they still look like a big, a super deal if you're coming
Yeah.
from the Bay Area.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's basically what's going on. Mostly what I'm seeing right now in
Yeah.
our little ecosystem.
Yeah. I had a friend in San Francisco and a Facebook friend, and they were like, I see a moving truck on my block every week now. Like people are just,
You're like, here's my number,
yeah, exactly.
hand it
I'm
out.
sure they're coming to Portland. Yeah. So yeah, people, and I've always said, realtors need to know realtors in other states, just establish a relationship with people from other states that are moving to Portland. And it's funny because, obviously we border Washington. So we get a lot of Vancouver, Portland people. And Portland people are always looking for Vancouver agents, but Vancouver agents are very rarely looking for Portland agents. You don't see that very often. But
Yeah.
I've told some Vancouver agents, I'm like, you need to establish a relationship with a Portland realtor if you don't have your license over here so it's kind of the opposite of what they've been, trained in their brain to do. And so thinking outside the box just a little bit on certain things, but referrals in other states right now is do you have any kind of referral system in other states, or do you deal with that very often?
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually using, I've done a bunch of different coaching programs, so I've met a lot of people from all over the country in
Oh
those.
yeah.
I like coaching. I
Yeah.
like I like to coach other people, especially through Sphere. I like to receive coaching from people, and I like to switch it up, so that like I don't stay with just one program. I like to see what all the different ones have to say. But I've
Yeah.
just met people all over the country that way. But I really love asking for recommendations on things like Masters in Real Estate on Facebook,
Yeah.
and
That's our local
you know,
Portland.
I like to put it out there, lab coat agents, whatever. Like I like
Yeah.
to put it out there and see who's recommended. But I agree with you. Like having a super, like I'd said before about my Austin friend, like I love having a go-to person in different places.
Yeah.
And I've got a few of them, and I
How
like
do
to
you
be
keep
that
track of
person for
them?
others. It's nice to be in the market. Well, in Sphere, I mean, so I keep track of them. I'm going to keep track of everything in there.
So
And then it'll also cycle through.
you can put all your contacts in there from other agents and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all of my colleagues are in there because that's part of the transaction tracking. Is
Ah.
it attaches everybody who's involved with the transaction in it, and I can set whether I want it to tell me to call that person periodically or not. So I'll say, I won't have that setting on for Portland colleagues, but I will for people I've had relationships with in other states, just maybe every 3 months, just to call and be like, hey, how's it going? just to keep that relationship alive, so they're thinking of
Yeah.
me when they get a call from Portland. So yeah, I mean, I just that's my brain. I mean, I don't think of what to do every day. I just do what I'm told.
Yep.
You know,
Sounds like a
um,
dream.
that's how I keep track. But I think it's super important, and it's really I feel fortunate to be in a market where a lot of incoming, except for the fact that now it's really hard to find a house for them.
Right.
So,
I know. Do you warn them ahead of time?
oh,
I mean,
we have a brutal honesty policy, and it's as much for the client as it is for us. We need people to we almost try to scare them first, and then if they're still on board, we know they're the right fit for us.
right, right.
We'll have this meeting where we're like, listen, we're going into battle, and we are your army.
Yep.
Okay, we're your army. We're your real estate army, and we want
Right.
we want to tell you might lose out on 3, 4, 5, right? But the people who don't give up always get an amazing house they love in the end.
Right.
But you're just gonna like if you get blown out of the way, right back out there, and that's how it goes. And this is what to expect. And the other thing I do is, since I do a lot of listings, I have spreadsheets of all the multiple offers that I share with my seller. I show that to my buyers later. Like I go
Right.
like, look, this is what I on the other side. This is what they're getting. This is the house you want. This is an example of what they're getting. Look at these terms. You
Right.
know, don't take my word for it. I'm showing you. This
Yeah.
is what happens. So that's why you think I'm crazy by suggesting that you do this and that, but other people are going to do it.
Yeah. Totally.
And if if the buyers are like, if their response is like, no way, forget it, or they seem to like personalize it to me, you know, then
Right.
I don't want them. I can't burn out. I can't spin my team's wheels on people like that.
Yep.
You know, go burn out someone else. You know,
Right. That's a hard lesson for realtors to learn, that you don't have to take everybody that comes your way. Like, it's okay to not, not everyone is for everyone. And I think, it's probably one of the hardest things that realtors do, but they always learn the hard way.
oh, I did. I mean, and it took me years of still doing it, even though I would actually
Keep
hear that
bonking
little
yourself
voice.
over the head.
I would hear that little voice in my head, like, you shouldn't take these people.
Don't
And I'd
do
be
it.
like,
Don't
great. So
do
when do
it.
you want to see homes? You know, and I'd be like, and then like 3 months later, I'd be miserable and just be like, I hate this business. And I'd be like, yeah, I should have listened to that voice in the beginning. Like, I know better, but it's so
Totally.
hard to turn away business. But
Yeah.
once you do, it creates a vacuum that then gets filled with people who are far more worthy of your time and energy.
Right.
And it's
And
hard.
that's where that referral business comes from too, because it doesn't mean that you have to just say no to them. You can say, you know what, I'm probably not the right fit, but I have somebody, this person would be really great, and referring that out, and still getting a little piece of the pie, but at the same time, everybody's taken care of the way that they should be. And I just think people don't do it enough. And like I said, they learn the hard way, unfortunately. But you have to learn from your mistakes. And that's definitely one of them that realtors make.
Totally.
But it also builds, other things come from that. And it's just, yeah, just one of those things that you just got to learn the hard way
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's the paying dues part of, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
if you get through that and you get to the other side, you're going to be successful.
Exactly.
Saying
Exactly.
no is so important to, I don't know, you always see like memes about this, or like lists about things, or whatever, from like Steve Jobs, like
Yeah.
all these people, they always said like saying no is the
Yeah.
secret to success.
It's
And it's
totally
like,
an
what?
art. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely part of it. Okay,
Yeah,
Ross. So I want to make sure that thank you for spending the time today. I loved catching up. It's crazy. We're local and we haven't seen or talked to each other in, I think, almost a year. This
I
pandemic
know.
we've all lost a year. Just like, where did that go and what just happened? And
I know.
it's
It's crazy.
crazy.
It's great to see your face. I know that this is
Yep.
an audio podcast, but we can see each other.
Yep. Zoom is a lovely thing.
Yeah, and it's great to talk to you. And yeah, this is wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So tell me the Sphere URL again, and then also where people can find you as a realtor here in Portland as well.
Yes, so you can find me at ownitportland.com, OWNIT Portland.com.
Perfect.
Go there, that's my site, and you can find me there. It's also, that's my Instagram name, Own It Portland.
Perfect.
Um, and yeah, and Sphere is usesphere.com, USESPHERE.com. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you have questions about it or want to talk about it. I also offer, anybody who signs up, I offer like an onboarding, we can schedule one-on-one time to get you set up and
Perfect.
going. So
That's so awesome. I love that. Yeah. I always was like, I wish I could use it for my business, at the store, but I recommend it all the time to everybody that comes in, and we have your little cards and we give those out. So go
thank
try
you.
it out, y'all. 30 days free. It might just change your real estate business. So why not?
Change mine. It grew my business 4 times larger in 5 years, working from 70 hours a week to 40.
It's insane.
It's not a magic bullet. You got to do the work, but
Yeah,
it gives you the roadmap and it tells you what to do. And as long as you do what it says, you're, that is what should happen for you.
totally. Totally. Not to get off track, but I listened to some Instagram person. I don't even know. I don't know if she owned a marketing business. I can't remember. But anyway, she said that she had taken 30 days off of social media, and she did it with great intention of, she basically needed to organize her business. And the only way to do that was to get out of the day to day. So she
Mm-hmm.
gave herself 30 days. She didn't post or anything. And she organized her whole calendar and did all of, what she needed to do. And I think realtors are afraid to do things like that because they don't want people to, forget about them, or, it's just one platform. It's just Instagram. But if there's something that you really want to get better at, but you can't because you're constantly struggling and you can't get there, it's okay to take a little bit of time off, get it organized, and come back, and then you're stronger than ever. So it's kind of the
Okay,
same
so when
thing.
I know that I need to do that and I'm super afraid, I'm calling you, Tracy, so that you can,
I can rah you.
yeah,
Let's
you
do
can
this, Ross.
get me on track.
Yeah, and it'll probably help me at the same time because I'm sure I always the same thing for me. So,
Cool.
all right, we already did your URL, your ownitportland.com,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Ross. I
Yeah.
appreciate having you
Thanks,
here.
Tracy. All right. Stay safe and healthy, and let's do a deal together soon.
I know, right?
Yep.
See
All
ya.
right.